My name is Glenn Autry. I think that I've met everyone in here. Just want to express our appreciation on your interest and support of our program that we're putting together. Without you guys, it really wouldn't be possible. So we're just excited about this. We put a lot of work in it. I think that we're fixing to see some fruit come from this. I feel like this is something we could all contribute to the community, have a good time at the same time, and have an impact on the area that we live in. A couple of folks I'd like to recognize tonight. Mayor Earl Evans is with us tonight, and I'm going to invite him in just a moment just to open with a word of prayer. Captain Chris Curry is with us tonight, the Shelby County Sheriff's Department. He is going to be training us in some areas a little later on tonight. Just like to say that we really appreciate the Sheriff's Department. They've just been extremely gracious in helping us put this together, and without them, it wouldn't be possible. So this is a partnership between the Sheriff's Department and the city. What we're going to do tonight is just going to be an informal atmosphere. We've got several things we want to cover. We're not sure exactly how far we're going to get tonight, but if you have any questions at any time, just like to feel free to ask questions. We don't have all the answers yet, and we're still refining this. So if you've got any brainstorms or any real bright ideas, we're open for anything that will help us to facilitate this. What we're going to do tonight is Jay is going to give us an overview in just a few minutes, just kind of where this thing originated from, what we're trying to accomplish, the structure of it, which is very important, and then we've got a couple of videos, a couple of 5-minute videos we'd like to show you, and then we're going to let Captain Curry go over some things. So it's kind of an outline tonight. Again, I just appreciate your interest and your attendance, and I'd just like to ask the mayor if he would open with a word of prayer, if he has any comments. What do you have for?
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for life. We thank you for the many blessings and opportunities that you put before us in our daily life. And dear God, we thank you that you gave your Son that we might have eternal life. And dear God, we thank you for that love that you have shown. And may we as citizens of Chelsea share that love with our neighbor as we start this new program, Citizens Observer Patrol. Help us to be the eyes and ears of this community that will recognize something that's not of the ordinary or something that looks out of line, that we may be a part to prevent a crime from happening in this community. We thank you for your guidance of this town and for our people. In Christ's name we pray. I'd like to welcome you and thank you very much for participating in this program. In a way, it's a little like starting a new town in that you are doing something for the first time that has not existed in this community. And we thank you for your time and your effort, and we know that we're going to see results from you participating and sharing. It's also good to see not necessarily new faces in recognition of meeting you, but new faces in becoming a part of the town of Chelsea, one of our committees. We have probably 6 or 7 committees right now with about 50 to 55 people involved. That's why Chelsea is making progress, because of the support that we have. I've had people say, y'all are mighty agreeable. I said, what do you mean? I said, well, you get in here with the town council and you carry on the business, you vote and you go on. And I said, that's the way it should be. And that's the way that we want Chelsea to be. Everything is not as smooth as it looks in a business meeting, but the problems, the issues that comes up are worked out beforehand to where we have an understanding. And that's what makes this community a great place to live. Lived here all my life. Billy's lived here all his life, I know, almost. Some of you are newcomers. Only what?
All that counted.
All that counted, that's right. I've often made a statement, the only place we can go from Chelsea is heaven, because there's no in between as far as better places to live. But some of you are new to the community, and I know that you have already fell in love with us, or you wouldn't be here wanting to help us. And I don't want to drag this out because I know y'all have a lot to do, but we do thank you and look forward to working with you in this program. And we've got a great committee that you're going to be working with. And again, we just thank you. And anything that we can do to make you more productive in this job, just let Jay, Glenn, or Captain
say why you're here, what you're interested in. And I'm going to take just a minute and tell you a little bit about my background. And I'm going to do the short version because I want y'all to do the short version. So my name's Jay German. I live over in Crossbrook, and I'm here because I'm interested in the town, and I'm particularly interested in civilian law enforcement and fire and emergency services in the town. So I'm willing to commit my time to try and make this a better place through those areas. And I'm personally real excited about the program. We're going to talk about that for the next 3 hours, and then again on Tuesday night for 3 hours, unless we run out of information first. So it's going to be fun. Why don't we start in the front row? Imogene, with you.
I'm Imogene Roberts. I live in Countryside, and we've worked since we first incorporated Chelsea, and I guess we won't ever quit working because we want it to be a better place.
I'm Harold Roberts, Countryside. She's with me, and we both work at this. So we've been in here, what, 7, 8 years now, something like that.
Danny?
Gotta stand up.
Yeah, oh, you have to stand up.
Danny Brennan, I live in Crossbrook. I'm not really sure why I'm here. We have the little garden center over here, and I guess I want to keep it safe more than anything else, but I also want to be out there for the kids. My kids are at an age now, my oldest son is driving, and I want to know what the hangouts are. I want to be able to participate in that, and this and that. That's why.
Good. Gary?
My name is Gary Hill, and the reason I'm involved is because I believe in being involved in the community you live in. And we've been out here 6 years, my wife and I, and I have a 91-year-old mother-in-law who lives with me, and I just want to have a nice community for everybody. I enjoyed that. Just want to help out.
She told me she volunteered you because she wanted to get you out of the house.
My mother-in-law? Wouldn't surprise me.
I'm George Glenn. I live in High Chaparral. I'm here because Jay German asked me to help him out. I am a lawyer with prosecuting attorney, U.S. Attorney's Office for 1.5 years, so he asked me to work with him a little bit on working up this program he has and answer questions. I'm glad to be in, help pay my civic rent by being here.
Let me make an additional comment about George's role. We have, the organization that we have over this program is called the General Management Committee, and that's made up of Chris Curry from the Sheriff's Office, Glenn Autry, who's a town councilman and head of the Police and Fire Committee, and myself, who was selected as an additional third volunteer. And that makes up the General Management Committee, and that's the policy-making group for the Citizen Observer Patrol program. The GMC reports to the mayor, and then specifically, the day-to-day volunteer activity is under my area of responsibility. But George, early on, we decided it wouldn't be a bad idea if we had somebody with a legal viewpoint to kind of give us some opinions. So we have George Glenn that's been asked to kind of help us, give us some guidance and make sure that we're doing things that avoid getting into trouble and avoiding liability and stuff like that. So that's specifically why he's here. He thought it would be helpful if he participated in the training, and in fact may actually go out with us on occasion to see what we're really doing. Bill?
I'm Bill Weldon. I live on Road 36, next door to the chain link fence with all the dog toys in it. Why I'm here? Well, I've been in Chelsea Volunteer Fire and Rescue Department since we started it. I'm accustomed to volunteering, and when Jay said, "Can you come?" I said, "Of course."
Bill is chairman of the board of the Chelsea Fire and Rescue Department, and retired recently from Alabama Power and found himself with some time on his hands, and before it all got committed, we told him about this program, and that's my version of your story.
Philip, good addition.
My name is Philip Hodgins. I live on Hodgins Road off of Highway 11. I've been in the Chelsea Fire Department as an EMT and firefighter since 1985. I'm here to make my community a better place.
We're glad to have you here. Ron?
Ron Meyer. I live off of 39, just past the middle school there, next road to the left up on the hill. Been here almost 4 years, and read a lot about what's going on with the town, how it's growing, just starting to move in the direction of organization and whatnot, and interested in becoming a part of it. I enjoy this community a whole lot, and I thought, well, I'm getting something, why shouldn't I not try to give something back to the community? So I thought, well, I'll give something.
Great. Karen?
My name is Karen Yates, and I live in Crossbrook, and I, like everybody else, is probably interested in just keeping the crime down and keeping an eye on things, and just a more secure place to live and raise our family.
Thank you. There are some folks that are not here yet. Karen's husband, Ricky, is one of them. And if they have a conflict, we're going to videotape this session so that they can make it up by videotape and still be able to contribute right away. It's important that we all get to know each other. We're going to be a unique team, and one of the requirements of the program is that we operate in pairs. And I think one of the benefits is going to be we'll get to know more folks. We'll be more effective operating in pairs, and I may call Danny and say, Danny, I didn't got my 3 hours in this week, and you want to go out and ride around. When we spend that time together, we're going to get to know each other, and I'm going to learn more about what he's doing with EES and Bell South and all that, and I see that happening with all of us. There's another role I think that's important that we'll play, in addition to the formal eyes and ears reporting part of our mission, and that is a public relations role. We're going to look professional. Our vehicles are going to look professional, and we're going to attract attention. And people are going to say, Gary, what is this cop thing that I see on the door of your car? And you're going to have a chance to interact with the people in our community and help them understand what we're doing and what the program's about. And on occasion, you're going to talk to someone and they're going to say, how do you get in this? Don't leave them. Sign them up if you think they're going to be a good addition. We want to have a high-class version or a high-class group of folks. And I don't mean that on a class basis. I mean, we want to do a professional job, and we want to use good judgment. So when you look at somebody and think about them in terms of, would they make a positive contribution to this program? And if you think they would, let's bring them in. And I see this growing pretty dramatically, and it's going to be a major contribution to our town and our community. 3 words come to my mind. I talked to someone about the program early on. He said, well, how much risk is involved? And I wasn't prepared for that question. And so I've thought about it a lot since then. And there is some risk, because you're going to be out on the street, and you're going to be out looking for trouble with a flashlight and a cell phone. And I think there's a couple of bywords that we need to live by. We need to have fun. We're not getting paid for this. So we just need to enjoy it. We need to enjoy the people we're meeting, enjoy what we're doing. We need to be safe. We're going to talk a lot about safety and how we accomplish our mission without getting into trouble. We want to avoid getting into trouble and make a difference. And we will make a difference. We'll make a huge difference. A little bit about the background of the program. Glenn was appointed by the mayor as chairman of the Fire and Police Committee back when the town was first formed. And because of my interest in security and law enforcement and so on, I early on said, sure, I'll volunteer to do that. It's a volunteer town. I volunteer occasionally. I had a little bit of time then. It's dissipated since then. And the question came up periodically, well, what are we going to do about law enforcement? Well, the sheriff provides law enforcement for the town of Chelsea, and that hasn't changed. Before there was a town, the sheriff provided law enforcement. We talked to him when the town was being formed. He said, with or without a town, we're providing law enforcement if you want us to. The town started 3 years ago with 900 people. Lynn, I'm expecting another person or two, and I wonder if they weren't able to find their way up here. Alicia Johnson specifically is the one I was expecting. But she's never been here before, so she may not know how to get in. They'll be later. Yeah, I know they've got a conflict early on. When the town was formed 3 years ago, the population was 900 people. Well, today, we can account for 2,300, and that doesn't include the people that have moved into the city limits since it was formed. So it's probably 2,600, I would guess. And that's happened through annexation, expanding the boundaries. If you look at this map over here, and I know it's a little hard to see, you can see the town boundaries, and we'll have to talk about how you're going to know when you're in the town or not. But the town will continue to expand through annexation and through people moving into it. Well, today we have 2,300 to 2,600 people. During the census, we may actually break 3,000, and as the boundaries continue to expand and people continue to move to this place that we all chose to live in, we could see as many as 14,000 or more people in the next 10 years. That's based on some projections that we've done in planning for services. Well, as that happens, you get the good with the bad. It's going to attract some of the negative element too, and that's where we come in. So we talked about, well, what can we do to continue to maintain a safe environment in our community? I travel to Texas a lot, and I travel to South Florida a lot. And both in Texas and in South Florida, a number of communities have citizen observer patrol programs in place. But one particular one kind of stood out from the other ones, and that was in Delray Beach, Florida. And if you've read some of the press that we've had on this program, you've always seen a little footnote that says patterned after Delray Beach, Florida. They started their program in 1990. Their town had 54,000 people. So it's a lot bigger, but we'll get there. And they actually had a problem, a crime problem. They had a full-time police department, fire department, all that. It was a thriving community on the beach in southeast Florida. And their intent in 1990 was to have between 100 and 125 volunteers to do neighborhood patrols, maybe patrol some of the downtown area, but just to augment the police department, provide eyes and ears so that they'd have better visibility and reporting. Today they have 1,350 volunteers. I mean, it's just an incredible success. And it's because the people in the program have taken it very seriously. They feel like they're making a difference and they're having a good time doing it. And they really feel like they're making a contribution to their community. And the crime rate, and like I say, they had one, and we're trying to avoid having one. They've dropped their crime statistics by 75% since that program started. So it works. It really works. I've had the opportunity to visit that department a couple of times. There's a full-time officer assigned to interface with the volunteer program, and his name is Skip Johnson. And I can tell you, he's taken us under his wing. He really is interested in this program. And there's something very unique about us that has really attracted their attention. We don't have a police department. And every other town that we know of does, that has sponsored a program like this. So as we looked at that program and tried to see if it would be applicable to us, we thought, well, I don't know if it'd work or not. So we asked James Jones, our sheriff, to meet with us, and Glenn and I talked to him. In fact, we met with him, I think, on 4 occasions now, and kind of reviewed what we were thinking about, and he was enthusiastic about the program. he was familiar with the COPS program. He had considered, in talking to some other town officials from some other towns about having a program like this, it had just never gotten started. And we went back as we progressed through the decision process and met with him on several occasions, and he said, you know, he'd really like to see us do it. He thinks it would work. And in fact, he was so enthused about it that he assigned Chris Curry, who's one of his key right-hand men, to work with us on the program. But since we're patterned after Delray Beach, I wanted to share with you a couple more things about Delray. They were selected as one of the top 10 American cities in, hey Alicia, you can get to introduce yourself in a minute.
Oh, good.
Name, where you live, and why you're here. I'm glad you found it. They were selected as one of America's top 10 cities back in about 94, I believe it was. And their COP program was one of the things that helped them, propel them to that recognition. You'll see a couple of things. They were featured in, was it Good Morning America or the Today Show? One of those two, and that's the videotape that I'm going to show you is that coverage. They focus on it as being a program for older folks, and that's because their population is older than most. The other thing is they have, as I mentioned, a lot of volunteers, and they are doing a lot of things. And you'll see in the videotape, they have a downtown walking patrol. Well, as the Winn-Dixie opens and we start getting all our shops, I can see that happening right here. They have parking enforcement. We didn't even mention parking meter in our town council meetings, so I don't see that happening anytime soon, but who knows what the future holds. One thing they do that's interesting is they have a radar trailer, which has a radar gun and then has a big sign on it that shows the speed of the oncoming vehicles. And they haul that thing out to where people are, you know, going faster than they should. You know, you can think of 11, 280, 47, you know which ones we're talking about here. You know, they set up on the side of the road, put this thing up. The people that are coming down there exceed the speed limit by whatever the limit is. They're writing down their license plate numbers, and the chief of police sends them a letter. And that's been effective in increasing the awareness and keeping speed down. And then about every fourth or fifth time they go out, they take a law enforcement officer with them who's actually writing tickets. So the people never know when it's real and when it isn't. I could see that happening here. Since then, let's see, they also have a Haitian community, and you're going to see that mentioned. And we don't have this situation here, but the folks in Haiti don't have much trust in their government. And when they move to the United States and live in a Haitian community in the United States, they don't have much contact with their local officials. In fact, they don't trust them. So one of the unique things about Delray was they tried to build a bridge through the COPS program with the Haitian community, and it's working. They got a couple of Haitian volunteers, they trained them, they're doing the job, and you'll see them referenced in this program. They've also started a water patrol, and I don't think we're going to have a need for that unless we get all the way down to Lay Lake on our annexation program. But any comments or questions about Delray or whatever before we show this tape? Glenn, let's show that. While he's setting that up, mention a couple things. We've got restrooms right out back. If anybody needs to go, help yourself. We're going to take a break about 8:30. Give everybody a couple minutes to relax. Can we turn the light out? Yeah, that's good.
In many parts of the country, our consumer correspondent, senior consumer correspondent, Patty Kaufman is here to talk about one program that's really has a difference. Yes, good morning, Patty. Good morning. You know, community policing is not really new. We're all familiar with the concept of neighborhood watch, but the approach has been successful beyond the wildest dreams of the police department in Delray Beach, Florida. There, a deluge of senior citizen volunteers has 12 ranks of the deputies, so they now, it's 23 minutes after the hour. Kevin Bacon directs the meeting.
I thought I'd share that with you. It's kind of, videotape tells you a lot more than a few words.